See what the connection speed is. 6,900 kilobytes per second. Not bad, not bad. Better than certainly better than it was yesterday. Okay, so I'm a little bit miffed. A little bit miffed right now. Just because of how stupid some people are. I say that, but that's really aggressive. It's like super aggressive. I don't mean to be that aggressive, but let's do a new tab, right? Let's go on over to TikTok, right? Let's check out TikTok. Yeah, good. Okay. How do you do this on the desktop platform? I forget. Oh no, it's gonna be like 10 minutes of me trying to figure this out on the fly. Settings, where are you? Settings. Yeah? Is it privacy? Maybe not. Preferences. Oh no. Crap. Can you not look at this? I know you can. Oh, you know what, actually? I know exactly how to get to it, but I want to figure this out real quick. Hopefully it's not for the fucking phone.
Get a chance to watch it because you refresh the page. I'm showing you 2 ways how to find that video. Watch the last way to do it because the last way is the easiest way to do it.
Desktop
so go
version.
to your profile, click the hamburger style at the top, and then you go over to settings. Once you go to settings, you can scroll down. If you just update it, it's called Activity Center now, but you can also go to Watch History. But click that, and then you're going to see Comment History, and then you're going to see Watch History. So it's going to take you to videos that you just watched or the video that you go to learn more about watch history. And what we all been waiting for. Bart, literally just, and then once you do that, you can go to watch.
That's useless to me. Oh, that's annoying. The guy responded, so I can just go into my notifications and just look at his response to the video. I just really want to be able to see my watch history. It doesn't appear like I'm going to be able to though. I know I'm missing something major. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so there you go. There's the start of the video. This is what you get. On mobile, it's obviously it's just this part right here, right? Lunatic Heron gets the sauce. Ann Arbor, Michigan, police, First Amendment audit, and then this. Okay, it is alarming to me how often I see this on multiple platforms, but especially TikTok. Where's part 2? Okay. What we got? Need part 2. There we go. There's another one. Part 2, part 3, or part 3. Okay. I swear I saw more than that. There we go. Part 5, part 2, part 2, part 2. I'm just like, part 3. These are adults. These are adults on possibly the most advanced tool that human society has ever invented in its entirety up to this point. The internet. It is the summation of all human knowledge everywhere. All human knowledge. Okay. it just, it bugs the crap out of me. Because, actually, can we just incognito? Okay, let's go to YouTube. Incognito mode. Ann Arbor, Michigan. First Amendment audit. Literally the first result. A year ago. From Amagonist Press? I don't know. It's literally the first result, people. And like, I don't like, I mean, sometimes I like being a dick. I don't really like being a dick. It's the first fucking result if you actually looked for it, which you're not doing. That's the problem. You're not looking for stuff. You're just sitting on TikTok and you're just waiting for other people to bring you the things that you think you want to see. The guy posted part 1, part 2, and part 3. Right? This one is 3 minutes long. This one is also 3 minutes long. This one is 4 minutes long. So 6 and 4 for 10 and a half minutes. Right? The original video is 45 minutes long. He posted, what did I say, 12? No. Did I say 10? 10. 6 and 4? Yeah. He posted 10 minutes. You're missing literally 75% of the video. Where's part 2? Where's part 2? Go fucking look for part 2. Go fucking look for the entire video, because seeing the entire video might be important for you to formulate an opinion. Might be. Which is what people do nowadays. Formulate opinions on the internet. Like, bro, look it up. Jesus Christ. You are a grown-ass adult. Matter of fact.
Did he express to you? We're in the middle of taking audio and video.
What's this guy's comment? What's my comment? My comment is, imagine waiting 55 minutes when you could just go to YouTube, type in Ann Arbor First Amendment audit, and the full video is the #1 result. Okay, smartass. It popped up in my feed. It was as joke. No one is sitting here waiting for a vid. If it was that serious, I may have went to YouTube. I may have went the YouTube route. I mean, it was serious enough for you to actually post a comment. It's 55 men. Where's part 2? It was that serious. So, how's it not that serious? Like, you literally posted a comment for it. And so did, like, 8 other people. Look it up. You are a grown-ass man. You're a grown man. Like, look it up, people.
What are you photographing, boys?
What else we got?
Did he express to you? We're
Private. Okay. It's like, it's not that serious for this. It's just the multitude of other times when I've seen people do this crap. So many people do this. Not just these people. Not just these grown-ass men. Right? It's just the tons and tons of grown people that will get on TikTok and be like, oh, where's the rest of the video, bro? It's like, it's on YouTube because it was posted like 3 fucking years ago. That's where it's at. That's where these people are getting the video that you're looking at. They're getting it from an account that posted it 3 years ago. For this one, it was posted 1 year ago. At the end of the day, I just want to give one piece of advice. Normalize looking it up for yourself. Normalize going to find it. You are a grown... most of you are grown adults. Grown. Maybe he's a different, maybe he speaks a different language. Maybe English isn't his forte. I don't know.
What are you photographing, boys?
Did he?
Normalize looking it up. Please. Please, for the love of God, normalize looking stuff up yourself. And don't just wait for somebody to come hand you something. Audit the Audit released a new video. Let's react to it. Audit the Audit, right? 1 second. Shout out to Audit the Audit. Because I'm technically using their content right now. Audit the Audit, right? YouTube at Audit the Audit. Fantastic videos. Post a new video every Monday. Sometimes they post every Thursday. And on those weeks, that's a good week. Audit the Audit on Monday and Thursday, that's a good week. I like that week. Secondary channel, John Lang. He posts sometimes on this video. It's like this. No. Actually, these. Maybe just this one. No, I think it was these three. Yeah. 2 years ago, 1 year, it was like just this for years. And then he's posted some more. I haven't seen these though. But Audit the Audit, female cop gets fired after doing this.
Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers detentions at gunpoint, resisting, and unlawful displays of firearms, and is brought to us by Lackluster's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On May 9th, 2023, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida resident Ryan Gold was swimming laps in his apartment complex's pool when another resident by the name of Anna Ivanova approached him and requested that he swim in the opposite direction. Mr. Gold refused to change his course, and after Mr. Gold and Ms. Ivanova collided in the pool, a verbal altercation ensued. Ms. Ivanova called her husband, Benedetto Salvia, who arrived at the pool, and after continuing the verbal dispute, Mr. Salvia lifted his shirt to reveal that a firearm was tucked into the front of his pants. Mr. Gold called 911 to report the incident and waited in the parking lot in front of the pool for officers to arrive.
Don't ever do that. Don't ever be that tough guy who, like, what? Your wife called you and told you that some guy was being mean to her, and you came fully fucking armed to a pool to confront a guy half naked with a handgun. That's very stupid, because if you do that, either A, the guy is accosting your wife and is willing to accost you and possibly has his own gun and pulls it, and then you guys are literally shooting at each other, or like this, it's literally just a stupid interaction that your wife instigated, possibly, and now you're going to have the cops called on you, and now you're the only guy armed with a gun, and the cops are coming. And the United States cops never overreact, right?
Officer Bethany Guerriero of the Palm Beach Gardens Police Department responded and approached Mr. Gold in the parking lot along with another officer.
Come in, how you doing? Your hands out your pockets for me?
I'm not the one who's done.
Sir, keep your hands out of your pockets. Put the phone
I
down.
haven't done a crime. Don't talk to me like
Listen
that.
to me. I don't know you.
Listen,
you can put
I
that
don't
down.
know you. You're the one with the gun. Why?
Get down on the ground now. Get down on the
What
ground.
is this?
Get down on the ground.
What the?
I told you not
That's
to reach
right.
for anything.
I haven't committed a crime. You don't have any.
Hands out to your
I
side
haven't
now.
committed a crime.
Now you put your hands behind your back.
You can't get people. For what?
Yes, I can.
For what?
I don't know you.
I don't know you. You're the ones with guns.
Yeah,
You're arresting me for nothing.
I'm detaining you right
That's
now.
fine. You're detaining me for what crime?
Because you don't want to listen.
That's not a crime. Are your body cams on?
Yes, they sure
Good.
are.
Good. I called you guys for help because this guy's brandishing a gun at me.
When Officer Guerriero approaches Mr. Gold, she tells him to keep his hands out of his pockets. Mr. Gold informs her that he is not the one with the gun, then reaches into his pocket to pull out his cell phone. Officer Guerriero then ordered him to keep his hands out of his pockets again, and when Mr. Gold verbally protested, she pointed her firearm at him, ordered him to get on the ground, and handcuffed him, despite the fact that he did not reach for his pockets again. And surveillance footage of the encounter clearly shows that at the time Officer Guerriero pulled out her firearm, Mr. Gold was backing away from her with his hands clearly at his sides. Courts generally recognize 3 different so-called levels of encounters between the police and citizenry.
Wait. Okay. And you know what? Oh. I know I can't say that on YouTube. I know I can't say it on YouTube. If you have issues internally, stature issues, possibly, don't be a cop. No amount of training can ever make you a good cop. If you have personal issues.
At his sides. Courts generally recognize 3 different so-called levels of encounters between the police and citizenry. Consensual encounters, temporary investigative detentions, or Terry stops, and formal arrests. As the 3rd District Court of Appeal of Florida outlined in the 1996 case of Saturnino Bode versus State, quote, in the consensual encounter, an officer may question anyone on the street without founded suspicion. On the other hand, now quoting again, a Terry stop is permissible if the detention is temporary and reasonable under the circumstances, and only if the police officer has a well-founded suspicion that the individual detained has committed, is committing, or is about to commit crime, while an arrest requires an officer to have probable cause to believe that the person arrested has committed a crime. Although the encounter between Officer Guerriero and Mr. Gold should have been of a consensual nature, since he had called the police for help as a potential victim, and there was no reason to believe that he had committed a crime, it is possible that a court could determine that Officer Guerriero had the reasonable suspicion necessary to conduct a Terry stop under the so-called mistake of fact doctrine, because she later articulated that she believed Mr. Gold was the individual who had a gun. As the Supreme Court explained in the 2014 case of Hine versus North Carolina.
So she lied. The cop lied. Articulated that she believed that Mr. Gold had the gun, whenever it's literally him standing in front of her saying, I'm not the one with the gun. How could she possibly have thought that?
Since the Fourth Amendment only prohibits unreasonable seizures, quote, a seizure may be permissible even though the justification for the action includes a reasonable factual mistake. Now, while it is questionable whether Officer Guerriero's mistake was, quote-unquote, reasonable, as Mr. Gold indicated that he did not have a gun, officers are not required to believe everything that citizens tell them, and it is certainly possible that a court could conclude that Officer Guerriero had reasonable suspicion to detain Mr. Gold due to her factual mistake. However, even if Officer Guerriero was within her authority to conduct a Terry stop, a court would likely find that her conduct exceeded the constitutionally permissible scope of the detention. It is well established that police action that exceeds the scope of an investigatory stop and becomes a full-blown, quote-unquote, de facto arrest is unconstitutional if it is not supported by probable cause. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Florida, determined in the 2004 case of U.S. versus Acosta that, quote, officers may take reasonable steps to ensure their safety so long as they possess an articulable and objectively reasonable belief that the suspect is potentially dangerous, and that, now quoting again, an investigatory stop does not necessarily ripen into an arrest because an officer draws his weapon, handcuffs a suspect, orders a suspect to lie face down on the ground, or secures a suspect in the back of a patrol car. Nonetheless, because Mr. Gold was not reaching into his pockets or behaving aggressively in any way at the time Officer Guerriero pulled out her firearm and pointed it at him, he would have a strong argument that she did not have an objectively reasonable belief that he was potentially dangerous, and therefore exceeded the permissible scope of a Terry stop and subjected him to an unconstitutional de facto arrest in the absence of probable cause.
Sit down! I didn't say get up! I said sit down!
Who is this? Where's your supervisor?
I'm getting
You
there!
see how she's talking? I haven't done anything.
You don't
Why am
wanna
I in
listen.
handcuffs? I don't care. You're not my mom.
Because I'm
You're not my
coming here
dad.
for a gun!
That's fine. I don't have a gun. I haven't committed a crime.
Wait, didn't the other cop literally tell this dude to stand up? Is that not what I just heard?
At the time Officer Guerriero pulled out her firearm and pointed it at him, he would have a strong argument that she did not have an objectively reasonable belief that he was potentially dangerous, and therefore exceeded the permissible scope of a Terry stop and subjected him to an unconstitutional de facto arrest in the absence of probable cause.
Oh, sit up.
Sit down. I didn't say get up. I said get out.
Jesus fucking Christ. I do have my opinions about female cops. My opinion about female cops is that 90% of them shouldn't be cops. I don't know if it's because they're a woman, or I don't know if it's because most of them are weaker than men. I don't know. But I do know that there is an unreasonable level of aggression from police, parole officers, corrections officers, even office workers, counselors, and like drug treatment specialists. There is an unreasonable amount of aggression out of females with power. Not all, but generally. You will find tons of women who have a small amount of authority over somebody, and they use it way too much. Not all, but a vast majority.
Where's your supervisor?
I'm getting
You
one.
see how she's talking? I haven't done anything.
You don't
Why am I
wanna
in
listen.
handcuffs? I don't care. You're not my
being
mom.
silly because I'm
You're not my
coming here
dad.
for a gun.
That's fine. I don't have a gun. I haven't committed a crime.
When I told you to keep your hand out of your pocket,
You're
you
not
did
my.
it.
I didn't commit a crime. You don't get to tell me what to do.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. Why are you yelling at me?
Because I have every
Who
right to
are
right
you?
now.
What's your badge number?
321 Guerrero, Guerrero. Make sure you spell it right.
If you're this scared of a guy in a
Scared, I've been here for
swimsuit,
20 years.
you're terrified of a guy in a swimsuit. I didn't do anything.
You can shut your mouth now.
They just detained me. I explained. There's no gun. That
I
guy
don't
has a gun.
detain anybody for no reason.
Then what reason?
Because I
What
told
crime
you.
did I commit for
Can
you
you
to detain
shut your
me?
mouth so I can explain it to
Are you in charge of this lady? Why am I in handcuffs on the ground? Are you a supervisor?
No, he's
Can
not.
someone
I've
explain
been here-
why I'm handcuffed on
Can you shut your mouth
No.
so I can talk to you?
Look at you. You're furious. What did I do?
You did not listen.
You're not my boss.
Listen to
I don't
me.
need to listen to you.
Yes, you do.
No, I.
Bro, why are your toes painted? Why are you that aggressive with your toes painted?
Don't. She doesn't get to detain me.
Yes,
pull
I
her
do.
gun. Pull her gun on me.
Because when
Put
you
me
put
on the
your hands
ground.
in your pocket and
I
I
didn't
get a
commit a
phone call
crime.
of a
I don't
gun,
care.
you
You're
don't
that
wanna
terrified?
listen.
You shouldn't be a cop if you're that terrified.
I've been here for 20 years, punk.
Yeah. Here. Go somewhere real. You're terrified. Palm Beach
know what,
Gardens.
do
Are
me
you
a
a
favor?
supervisor? Can you ask this lady why I'm in handcuffs? Tell her what crime
I keep
I've
trying to
committed.
tell you.
Go
and
ahead.
you
What
keep
crime?
talking over me.
What crime?
I get called because
Crime.
someone is.
What suspicion?
You don't need to be in
Yes, I do. To detain me, you need
You
suspicion of a crime.
No, you do not.
Yes, you do. You don't know the law? Please explain it to me. You cannot just go around detaining random people.
Can you calm down for a
Can-
second?
I'm in
Can you
handcuffs.
calm down?
Random.
Obviously, we're not
Can I
getting
stand
anywhere.
up? I'll calm down if I can stand up. What
I'm
did
in
I do?
charge, not you.
No, you're not.
And your blue nail polish, cute.
Okay.
No,
I'm not gonna do it. What did I do?
Down, all right?
What?
Right now, all I need you to do is keep your mouth
Jesus
shut.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not gonna do it. Arrest me.
You are
Yeah,
under
I want
arrest.
you. Okay, arrest me.
You're a-
Go ahead,
you're
take me to
under
jail.
arrest for resisting. I am
Go
gonna
ahead,
take
take
you
me
to
to jail. Take me to jail right now.
You're under arrest right now for not committing a crime. Like, okay, well, there you go. She just said you're under arrest. So, that's an instant lawsuit.
Take me to jail.
Oh, I will.
Do it. I'm ready.
going to.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
What's your name, dude?
Excuse me.
What's your name?
Allow me to stand
What's
up
your
and
name?
I'll...
No.
Negative. Doesn't work that way.
Okay, tell me what crime I'm here for.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. You're under arrest.
For what crime?
You have to give your name. You're already on the
That's fine. What crime,
Don't
though?
worry. She already told you.
She's already got
Resisting arrest is a secondary charge. That's a secondary charge.
It's not a
Then
secondary.
take me to jail. I'm
You
not
are going to jail. Don't
Okay,
worry
let's
about
go.
it. I got you.
Let's go.
The officers inform Mr. Gold that he will be arrested for resisting, and Mr. Gold argues that resisting arrest is a so-called secondary charge. In order to fully understand the legal principles in play, we must address the distinction between state statutes that criminalize resisting arrest and laws that simply prohibit, quote-unquote, resisting an officer. In some states, the applicable statute only forbids resisting the specific act of arrest, in which case resisting would be considered a so-called secondary charge to the offense, precipitating the underlying arrest.
But if you're being charged with resisting arrest, wouldn't you have to know that you are being placed under arrest? And if you're the guy calling the cops, how the hell could you possibly know? Well, I mean, he wasn't. He was never like verbally informed that, hey, you are now under arrest, and then resisted. So how could he possibly be charged and convicted under any statute for resisting arrest whenever you were never informed of being under arrest, therefore able to resist the arrest? Does that make sense?
However, in other states, such as Florida, resisting can be a standalone charge, as the statute merely criminalizes so-called resisting an officer in the performance of their duties, and does not necessarily require the resistance to be in response to an arrest. Under Section 844.02 of the Florida statutes, quote, whoever shall resist, obstruct, or oppose any officer in the lawful execution of any legal duty, without offering or doing violence to the person of the officer, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor of the...
But where does the resistance come from also? Like, lawful execution of any legal duty. I just feel like the guy can't possibly be convicted of resisting.
First degree.
I mean, I'm assuming it's because he's not offering his information, his name and stuff.
Courts have generally determined that in some situations, individuals can be convicted of resisting for refusing to comply with a police officer's lawful order. For example, in the 2022 case of Senko versus Jackson, the U.S. District Court for the Southern District...
I'll assume, if you're the guy calling the cops, and then the cops come, it's almost guaranteed you have to give your information. You're the one that called them. You're the one that initiated, like, emergency services. So why would you not be forced to give up your Fourth Amendment right and provide all of your information, you know, your papers and effects, all that crap? You would almost undeniably have to provide that if you call emergency services. So yeah, okay.
Flores stated that this statute, quote, authorizes arrest for knowingly obstructing an officer in the performance of his duties, including by refusing to obey a police officer's lawful command. However, in the 2010 case of Stamos versus Brown, the same court determined that an officer did not have arguable probable cause to arrest an individual who initially did not comply with an officer's orders to back away, but then began to step back after subsequent orders. In this instance, while Mr. Gold did not comply with Officer Guerriero's initial order to keep his hands out of his pockets, he reached into his pocket for his phone after providing the mitigating information that he was not the one who had the gun, and seemed to believe that he had alleviated her concerns. Once it became clear that Officer Guerriero still wanted him to keep his hands out of his pockets, he complied with this order. As such, it is highly likely that a court would conclude that Mr. Gold's conduct in retrieving his phone from his pocket did not rise to the level of knowingly resisting, obstructing, or opposing Officer Guerriero.
Yeah, also, most people use their phone to collect evidence. Like, you're going to be taking pictures of license plates or people or identifying information. Like, you kind of need your phone. I mean, yeah, it's probably poor timing, but, like, lady, chill out. Jesus.
That's fine. I'm ready to go to jail. Take me.
You're gonna go,
Is
trust
your
me.
body camera on, sir? All our body cameras are on. Perfect.
He came out here. Me and Strzelecki were he's got his hands in his pocket, and I go, bro, take your hands out of your pocket, right? And then when he goes and pulls the phone out, and he goes to put it back. I said, keep your hands out of your pocket. And I drew down on him. I drew down on him.
Okay.
That guy.
Has anybody talked to...
Not yet, because Mike came running out. Joe went running out.
What?
I'm over here.
Fuck that guy. Public servant. Serve and protect. Fuck that guy. Sure. Cool. Like I said, not solely because she's a woman, because she's small, because she's weak, because she's insecure. You shouldn't be a cop. 20 years? Have you been doing this for 20 years?
Here, literally by myself with this f***ing guy.
All right.
You're pulling a gun out on the victim. But you've been a cop for 20 years. I've been doing this for 20 years. Okay. You shouldn't be doing that for 20 years.
Are you okay to go talk to her?
Yes.
Assaulting me, threatening me. So, I had to call my husband.
Do you wish to tell me what happened here today so I can have a better understanding?
Yeah, I mean, my wife called me. She called me and said that there was a guy harassing her at school.
Okay. Was it that guy over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I just ran over here. He's obviously a lot bigger than me. And I didn't, want to get involved. I was trying to pull my wife away. And she just got closer.
At what point did the gun become involved? Well, how did he know that you were armed?
No aggression for the guy who actually has a gun in his waistband. Have they actually taken the gun off of him yet? Or does he still have a live firearm in his fucking waistband? Like, you were super afraid of people with guns before, whenever the guy was literally in just those swim trunks. So, are we no longer afraid of weapons? Are we no longer afraid of handguns? Maybe he's already been taken away from him. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
You told that other officer that you put your hands up like this so that
My wife said that.
straight.
I know it didn't come out of the holster or anything like that.
No, I didn't say it came out, but how was he able to know that you were armed? Because he called us and said that you were armed.
I mean, if I lift my shirt up, you can see it.
Okay,
But-
so did you want him to see that you were armed? Did you tell him you were armed?
I don't think so. No.
In contrast to the two conflicting stories that Mr. Salvia
It
told
looks
the
like the
officer,
gun's gone.
the surveillance footage from the pool clearly shows that he approached Mr. Gold, stood directly in front of him, and raised his shirt to display the firearm that was concealed in the front of his pants. According to Section 790.10 of the Florida statute, which codifies the offense of improper exhibition of dangerous weapons or firearms, quote, if any person having or carrying any dirk, sword, sword cane, firearm, electric weapon or device, or other weapon shall, in the presence of one or more persons, exhibit the same in a rude, careless, angry, or threatening manner, not in necessary self-defense, the person so offending shall be guilty of a misdemeanor of the first degree. Now, while it is nearly unquestionable based on the security footage that Mr. Salvia displayed his firearm to Mr. Gold in a rude, careless, angry, or threatening manner, he would not be guilty of a criminal offense if he did so in quote-unquote necessary self-defense. However, under Section 776.012 of the Florida statutes, an individual is only justified in using or threatening to use force against another, quote, when and to the extent that the person reasonably believes that such conduct is necessary to defend himself or herself or another against the other's imminent use of unlawful force. Now, while the surveillance footage clearly shows that Mr. Gold was engaged in a heated verbal exchange with Mr. Salvia and Ms. Ivanova, he made no physically threatening actions and remained a safe distance away from the couple. And it was Mr. Salvia who approached Mr. Gold and then raised his shirt to display his firearm. Accordingly, a court would almost certainly conclude that Mr. Salvia was not acting in necessary self-defense against an imminent use of force by Mr. Gold.
Okay, so we spoke with that gentleman. Okay, I spoke to him. I'm trying to understand exactly what happened again. Can you explain to me from your perspective what happened?
He started screaming. He started getting closer. He started balling up his fists.
So he's walking towards you?
Yes.
Okay.
My wife got closer to him, and I tried to insert myself in between them.
Okay.
So at that point, we were maybe like 4 or 5 feet apart.
Okay. At what point in time did you pull up your shirt?
Or 10.
Somewhere in there. I really am not comfortable saying anymore. I'm so hazy in my memory that I don't want to say the wrong thing. Can I wait till I have a lawyer?
Sure, absolutely.
We just wanted to give you the opportunity because we're going to look at those cameras and we just want to make sure that what we're going to watch matches what you're saying.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, I lifted my shirt up.
At any point during your encounter with him, did you inform him that you were armed?
I mean, I think that was informing him that I was armed.
By lifting up your shirt?
Yes.
Okay, we'll leave it there.
Well, I mean,
we'll leave it there. You already asked for more. We'll leave it there.
I was going to say either you hold him or you file, but we have a weapon and it was used in the crime.
Well, we'll take the weapon.
What are you going to take the weapon for?
Right now, pending the outcome of the investigation.
So then I would go with that then. Take him for the resisted doubt.
Yeah. What do you think, Beth?
And then you can let him know, hey, we're taking your firearm, pending the outcome of this investigation. But
I feel like at this point they both deserve to go, and I'll tell you why.
Officer Guerriero
Mute
turned
the
off
body
the
camera.
for the remainder of the encounter.
Mute that. That should be a felony. That should be a felony. That should be tampering with evidence. Absolutely. And so many cops do it. So many cops. She's been doing this for 20 years. Has she been doing this for 20 years? Because if I had 20 years of felonies, like at least 20 felonies, I'd still be in prison and I would never get out in Tennessee with 20 felonies. I wish that was a felony. I wish you could imprison the cops. I do. Absolutely.
And was later taken to the hospital from the apartment complex in an ambulance after her heart rate spiked and she complained of chest pains. Mr. Gold was transported to jail.
That's because she knew that she's fucked. It's because she understood all of the facts after her unreasonable reaction, and she understands just how fucked she is for illegally detaining and arresting a guy who called the cops, for arresting the victim of a crime.
But several hours later, after Sergeant Dennis Beath reviewed the surveillance footage from the apartment complex, he called another officer and ordered him to get Mr. Gold out of jail immediately. Mr. Gold was then released before he was processed and...
because the lawsuit is so juicy.
Without any criminal charges being filed against him. According to a probable cause affidavit written by Officer Michael Valerio, because the officers could not immediately access the surveillance footage, they seized Mr. Salvia's firearm, bullets, magazine, and holster pending the outcome of this investigation, and then released Mr. Salvia and Ms. Ivanova. However, after the officers reviewed the surveillance footage, they determined that probable probable cause existed to arrest Mr. Salvia, and on May 12, 2023, he was charged with improper exhibition of a dangerous weapon. Court records show that Mr. Salvia participated in a pre-trial diversion program, and on May 26, 2023, the charge was dismissed after Mr. Salvia took gun safety and anger management classes and paid for the costs of prosecution. Immediately following the encounter, Mr. Gold filed several complaints with the Palm Beach Gardens PD, triggering an internal affairs investigation 1 day after his arrest. On August 25, 2023, Chief Clint Shannon announced that Officer Guerriero was fired after the investigation determined that she violated several department policies in her conduct toward Mr. Gold.
Good.
According to Officer Guerriero's personnel file, she had been with the department for over 19 years and made $101,000 annually. She later told a reporter that, quote, "Being in this job as long as we all have, we have moments throughout our careers that weren't our best. Was it my finest hour? Absolutely not." It is also reported that Officer Guerriero planned to appeal her termination through arbitration. As a result of the altercation with Officer Guerriero, Mr. Gold decided to move back to Chicago and told a reporter that he never wanted to return to Palm Beach Gardens. He also informed reporters that he is considering filing a lawsuit. And Blackluster stated at the end of his video that there was, quote-unquote, quite a bit of news regarding Mr. Gold's next actions, but Mr. Gold was limited in what he could share just yet. Overall, Officer Guerriero gets an F for unreasonably pointing her firearm at an unarmed and unaggressive citizen who had just been threatened with a gun, arresting Mr. Gold when there was likely no probable cause to do so, and blatantly misrepresenting the facts of the situation in order to justify her actions. As Mr. Gold pointed out, Officer Guerriero seemed to be terrified by the idea of a gun being present at the scene. And although fear of the deadly nature of firearms is certainly an understandable human reaction, individuals who cannot behave reasonably and constitutionally when responding to encounters involving guns simply do not have the temperament necessary to be law enforcement officers.
Especially whenever you're a law enforcement officer or a public servant sworn to uphold the tenets of the Constitution, and one of those tenets being the right to keep and bear arms. But you're terrified of a person that, I mean, the person told you they didn't have a gun. I just... Like, imagine that she's a cop, which she is. Imagine that she pulls people over for, like, traffic infractions. And, like, they have an obligation to inform of concealed carry. And then, so it started off as, oh, well, this guy just didn't signal. This guy didn't come to a complete stop at the stop sign. And then, oh my God, he's got a gun. And then the guns get pulled out because she's not prepared to engage with anything like that. So she's got her gun pointed at somebody's head, trying to, secure their firearm, even though it's like, hey, I know you pulled me over for this, but since you're a police officer, my concealed carry permit says that I have to inform you that there's a weapon in the car. And then all hell breaks loose. Jeez. People like that shouldn't be cops. Absolutely not. And then has a full-blown panic attack whenever she realizes she just screwed up royally.
In order to be effective in their positions, officers must be able to regulate their fear and anger and respond to situations in a proportional and intentional manner, which Officer Guerriero clearly failed to do here. Additionally, while I applaud the Palm Beach Gardens PD for terminating Officer Guerriero, I question why the other officers involved in Mr. Gold's arrest were not disciplined, as they did nothing to stop Officer...
Yep. That's the other side of this coin. That's one reason that people hate the thin blue line thing. Yeah, just for the, it's the other officers that do nothing. It's the officers here who swear to uphold and protect the Constitution and the rights of the people, and then they violate it. And then it's also the people who stand directly next to these terrible officers and do absolutely nothing to stop them or to educate them, inform them. They're just as bad as these terrible cops. Possibly they're worse, because these people, they don't give a shit about your rights. It's the other officers that pretend like they do, but then do nothing, so they also don't care.
Officer Guerriero's overly aggressive behavior and assisted in arresting Mr. Gold without probable cause, with one officer even pointing his taser at Mr. Gold when Officer Guerriero drew her firearm. As Mr. Gold told a reporter when arguing that Officer Guerriero's firing was not enough, quote, "There were many officers there that day that participated in this. It was not just this one woman. Mr. Gold gets an A, because although he did not comply with Officer Guerriero's initial order to keep his hands out of his pockets, this seemed to be the result of a misunderstanding rather than a willful act of defiance. And he took steps to oppose Officer Guerriero's unlawful conduct by verbally challenging her actions during the stop and filing complaints afterward. Mr. Gold has also sought to bring public attention to the misconduct in this incident, and has been vocal in calling for higher levels of reform in the Palm Beach Gardens PD other than just simply firing Officer Guerriero. I commend Mr. Gold for his willingness to stand up for his rights, even in the face of multiple officers engaging in questionable conduct, and would encourage him to pursue a lawsuit if he's not already doing so. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.
That's Audit the Audit at Audit the Audit, or at YouTube/Audit the Audit. And Lackluster, they're good too. Lackluster Media.
You realize the failure of the war on drugs when someone tasked with combating it switches...
Quiet you. Yeah, Lackluster. They post pretty good content too. Audit the Audit. It's all on the internet. Okay, so no disrespect to him, but claims to be a lawyer. So yeah. Just in case anybody is wondering about that, right? What is this? John Lang. Wait. Is his name John Lang? You said his name is John Lang. I don't think it is. I could have swore he said he was a lawyer.
Greetings ATA community, welcome back to my second channel. So for those of you who don't know, my name is not John Lang. That name is an alias that I use in an effort to protect my identity. Today I want to tell you the story of the real John Lang and let you know why I chose his name as my alias. One thing to understand about the story of John Lang is that it is engulfed in rumors and speculation. Some elements of his story are undeniably fact, and others are disputed, questionable, and unprovable. For the sake of brevity, I won't go into every detail of this story, as it is extremely dense, and you'll see why once we get into it. I guess the first thing that you should know about John Lang is that he is no longer with us, and the circumstances surrounding his death are somewhat contentious. There are many who believe that John Lang was a victim of murder, and there are others who believe that he was simply suffering from a mental illness. And these two theories are not necessarily mutually exclusive. One thing that is certain is that John kept a detailed log of all of the events that inevitably led to his death, conspiracy or not. According to John, his story began in 2009, where he discovered that officers from the Fresno Police Department were scanning the license plates of vehicles parked in private retail parking lots and then detaining the vehicles that were committing violations once they left the lot. John claimed that he was a victim of this scam himself and that the financial stress related to this incident eventually crippled his already distraught marriage. John viewed this tactic as an unlawful and unethical money-generating scheme that preyed on those of a lower socioeconomic status. In protest, John began posting his negative opinions of the Fresno Police Department on the Fresno Bee's website, which is the local paper in Fresno. And after the Fresno Bee moved their comment section over to Facebook, John began getting more interactions with his critical posts. John claims that he thought he was posting anonymously, but a reporter that worked at the Fresno Bee had leaked his name and IP address to a staff sergeant at the Fresno County Sheriff's Office. John went on to claim that within weeks of posting his negative opinions online, he began to be followed by officers from the Fresno Police Department. John recounted being tailed by officers, deputies, and Fresno personnel almost everywhere he went, and that his online opposition to Fresno's mayor exacerbated that stalking. Interestingly enough, I don't recall him ever mentioning having been pulled over or physically harassed in any way. John claimed that the officers had been following him, they had tapped his phones, and that they were using information they gathered to deter customers from his business. But he never accused them of actually physically harming him. This has led many to believe that John may have been suffering from some type of mental disorder. Many of his writings are somewhat sporadic and disheveled, and John tends to leave out distracting details in favor of the bigger picture. If you read between the lines of John's testimony, it does seem to suggest that he may not have been cognitively sound. This is all my opinion, of course, and I am not qualified to make that distinction with any degree of certainty. All that said, it might be difficult to appear as anything other than a disturbed individual if you were subjected to the same type of harassment that John claims he was a victim of. If John's story were true, it would make sense why he told it with such a sloppy delivery and an emphasis on urgency. John kept a very detailed log of all the interactions he had with individuals he suspected to be undercover Fresno police officers. And according to John, the year 2013 was when the harassment reached a new level. John wrote obsessively about an emission scheme that he believed the Fresno Sheriff's Office and 2 reporters were trying to frame him for. And he went on to accuse them of attempting to plant highly illegal materials on his computer. I'm sure you can guess what I'm referring to. John eventually installed surveillance cameras outside of his home and started a YouTube channel called Lang Marine, which is also the name of a small marine craft repair shop that he ran out of his home. John began uploading videos in March of 2015 and posted 17 videos from his surveillance system that sporadically chronicled the events occurring outside of his home up until January 16th of 2016. Each video was accompanied by a description of the events being shown and generally also included speculation about what was really happening in the footage. Many of these videos show routine and seemingly innocent behavior by random passersby, but John often concluded that these individuals were likely undercover agents of the Fresno Sheriff's Office or the Fresno Police Department. And some of these videos did clearly show police officers outside of John's home, but whether or not they were actually there for John is relatively debatable. One interesting video involves surveillance footage that John captured of a minivan parked on his street with a camera rig seemingly pointed directly at his home. In the description section of this video, John claims that the Fresno Sheriff's Office had been illegally entering his home when he left, and that they were using an infrared thermal imager to determine whether or not he was actually home. There are 2 important elements to understand about John's claims here. First is that there are no known thermal or infrared devices that are capable of penetrating the walls of a typical home. Both infrared and thermal devices are based on wavelength measurements that can be limited by things like barriers, smoke, or climate disruption. Even if this camera was a powerful thermal imaging device, it would look a lot more like this. The camera in the surveillance footage appears to be a normal DSLR camera that is attached to a gimbal rig that is meant to keep the camera stable. Now, that's not to say that this event isn't a strange coincidence nonetheless, but many have speculated that this was merely a movie company filming B-roll on John's street. And that theory does make sense considering that this took place in Fresno, but it certainly doesn't explain John's next video, which was his final YouTube post. On January 16th, 2016, John posted a 1.5-minute long video that showed a man propped up on the passenger side of a van parked outside of John's house. The van apparently belonged to the Guarantee Carpet and Upholstery Cleaning Service, and the video goes on to show the man attach a document to John's neighbor's fence before eventually leaving. In the description section of this video, John tells his audience that if he ends up missing or dead, to remember this van. The following day, John wrote an open letter to the Department of Justice and the FBI, reiterating his suspicions that the Fresno Police Department were attempting to plant obscene material onto his devices and continually breaking into his home when he was not there. He ended his letter by stating, quote, "And with this letter, I have for certain signed my death warrant with Fresno law enforcement." 3 days later, John passed away. As mentioned before, the circumstances surrounding his death are somewhat strange and controversial. Neighbors noticed the smoke pouring out of John's house at around 3 p.m., and firefighters had to force their way into John's house because it had been barricaded from the inside. Firefighters located John's body inside his home, and it was initially reported by some outlets that John had been stabbed several times, including in his back. But the final coroner's report listed that John had sustained 3 superficial stab wounds to his chest, but the main cause of death was ruled as inhalation of soot and smoke, and John's death was ultimately ruled a suicide. It appears that Guarantee Carpet and Upholstery Cleaning is a legitimate company, but some have speculated that the company operated as a shell and carried out the hit for the Fresno Sheriff's Office. There have also been questions raised regarding certain conflicts of interest regarding John's autopsy. This story is extremely dense, and like I said, I'm not going to go into all the details, but this is one of those stories that seems to take you as far down the rabbit hole as you're willing to go. It's up to you to find a reasonable balance between what you believe is true and false about this story. One interesting thing to note is that to this day, no one knows what John Lang actually looks like. He's one of the very few people to have interacted with social media without leaving a significant digital footprint, and that is getting increasingly harder to do nowadays. There were reports that John had cameras inside his home as well, but apparently the system stopped recording several hours before the fire actually started, and apparently the last recording that was saved showed John brandishing a large knife at the camera before presumably turning it on himself. It is not outside the realm of possibility to believe that voicing a critical opinion of government or the police may result in being targeted, and that is cause for concern. And there have been many real-world instances where police officers stalk innocent citizens. Some degree of plausibility exists within John's story, if based on nothing more than coincidence. What are the odds that a film crew would park outside the home of a potentially mentally disturbed individual and point a camera directly at his house house days before his death? What if he truly was being harassed? Would anyone have taken him seriously anyway? John Lang was no doubt a conflicted individual, and it is extremely difficult to speculate on his mental stability without some kind of objective.
I really just want to know about these backstab wounds. I guess that's basically the only thing that matters to me. Because it is entirely plausible that the dude, like, burned his own house down because he was, you know, crazy. But you can't stab yourself in the back and it not be, you know, and it not be obvious because of the angle, the trajectory of the knife going into your body. Body received in a white body bag, a cut black short sleeve cotton t-shirt and cut blue jeans are noted beneath the body inside the body bag. These were removed and examined on a separate table. No tears are noted in the black t-shirt, which would correspond to stab wounds on the body. Probably brown paper bag securing the hands. Probably trying to preserve any evidence on the the hands or fingernails. Serrated bread knife. Jesus. Measuring less than ½ inch width. Blade measuring 10 inches long. Serrated edges. God, that would hurt. Soot is present over the face, top and bottom of the feet and hands. No additional areas of soot are noted on the arms, torso, rest of the legs. Left anterior chest has 3 penetrating stab wounds which would actually perforate through the interior chest wall. Breasts are normal male. No additional injuries are noted in the chest region. Why? Genitalia is unremarkable. Damn, that's kind of mean. I mean, you don't have to say that it's remarkable, but you don't have to say that it's unremarkable. Damn. That's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen in an autopsy report. Multiple stab wounds of the chest, total of 3. Three stab wounds on the left anterior chest between the breast and the sternum. Between the breast and the sternum. Here, in between the ribs, maybe. The wounds are located between 50 and from the left heel. Oh, okay, that's weird. From the midline out to the 2-inch left. Probably a medical thing. Stab wound number 1. Slightly angled. Angulated with a sharp end and somewhat blunted opposite end. There is noticeable bruising of the skin around the wound with moderate tension of the skin so that the opening gapes slightly. Huh. Stab wound 1, location, direction. I'm so confused. Where does it say? Where does it say that there's wounds on his back? It says 3 penetrating stab wounds, chest wall. No additional injuries are noted to the chest region. Okay. Huh. Okay. So we're in the stab wounds. Smoke inhalation, medical treatment, internal examination, left lung collapsed, right ventricle, probably because he fucking stabbed himself, maybe in the heart. If the bread knife is 10 inches long, can that go through to the back? Because this doesn't seem to say anything about negative for all drugs, right? At least listed. This doesn't seem to say anything about back wounds. Huh. Yeah. Doesn't say anything about him being wounded on his back, at least in the autopsy. I mean, yeah. I mean, you're never gonna know. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, because it certainly is possible that all of that crazy stuff happened, but it kind of looks like the guy was just a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and might have set his house on fire and stabbed himself in the chest. And it doesn't help that he was on camera in his own house brandishing a knife in front of it. With a large knife, displaying the knife in front of the camera, and took it to another room. Turned it off. Doesn't look good for you, buddy. Yeah. Fresno court ruled it a suicide. And stabbed him in his abdomen and upper back. 3 superficial self-inflicted stab wounds to his chest. Oh, maybe the police report has details of back wounds. Information released at the scene. Although, yeah, he could just be cops playing telephone. Being like, yeah, he's got wounds here, here, and here, and then somebody just hears the wrong thing, reports the wrong thing. Totally plausible. I mean, it kind of sounds like the guy killed himself. A little bit. Sorry. Just saying.
Evidence outside of his frantic social media posts. As I said before, anyone being stalked and harassed by the police may have had a very similar reaction. Whether or not there is any legitimacy to his claims, I believe that John truly believed that he was being targeted. But no one can say for certain if that's actually what drove him to his end. Sometimes it appears as though the variables of life align too perfectly for a horrible situation to have unfolded without some kind of human intervention. And other times, horrible events just appear as though they are a byproduct of our society. There are many lessons to be learned from John Lang's story, but for me, it serves as a reminder that almost every story is more complex and circumstantial than it initially appears. It's easy to point fingers and place blame no matter which side of the story you believe, but both perspectives reveal glaring problems within our society that should be addressed. For those of you who subscribe to the notion that John was killed by rogue officers from various departments, he represents a sort of martyr for free speech and government accountability. And for those who believe that John was suffering from an untreated mental illness, his story highlights many of the shortcomings facing America's mental health sector. The grander issues of both perspectives are valid and should be considered equally. And I think that it is just as important to consider how John's death can contribute to progress on both of those fronts as it is to figure out the truth of John's story. Some of the most impactful stories simply do not offer a calculated resolution, and it can be refreshing to acknowledge that the world does not always offer us closure. John Lang's story was one of the first that truly stuck with me, and using John Lang's name as my alias is sort of a way to create a digital tombstone for people to remember him by. As the psychologist Irvin Yalom once said, quote, "Someday soon, perhaps in 40 years, there will be no one alive who has ever known me. That's when I will be truly dead, when I exist in no one's memory." I thought a lot about how someone very old is the last living individual to have known some person or cluster of people. When that person dies, the whole cluster dies too, vanishes from living memory. I wonder who that person will be for me, whose death will make me truly dead. Using John Lang's name is a way to ensure that he lives on for a little bit longer. And as long as I am alive, so too is John Lang. Thank you for taking the time to watch this episode, and I highly encourage you to dive into the John Lang story and make your own conclusions about what may or may not have happened to him. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this type of content, and if it's your first time here, be sure to like and subscribe. Once again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Damn, is it just 4 years? There's no way. Man, I've been watching Audit the Audit since he started this channel then. Jeez. I've literally been watching this from the jump. Or no, I haven't. Have I? I got out in 2020. Is there a way to see how long I've been subscribed? Huh. Subscriptions. Maybe not. Audit the Audit. Man, I wish I could see when I subscribed. I've literally seen every video he's got, I think. I know I've watched this one multiple times, and I've watched it on different channels. I'm actually kind of upset that it doesn't show that I've watched them. I got out of prison in 2020, August of 2020. And it looks like I started watching this dude's channel almost, like, at least within like 6 months of him starting it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to look at when I subscribed. I wish I could see when I last watched it. Anyway. Yeah, Audit the Audit. Great channel. Let's go back to TikTok. See what nonsense we can get to over there.
See, if people didn't when I say you are free to do this.
Yes, I am, sir.
See, if people didn't record people as their own business, it wouldn't be a problem.
Well, I'm on my property. I can do what I want.
And so can I, because
Yes,
I'm on
sir.
a public sidewalk.
Yes, sir, you are.
I mean, can you though? Because you're basically full on harassing the public.
You ever think about minding your own business?
I am, but that's why you get paid to be out here.
Why don't you go over there?
No, I can hang out right here. It's okay. I'm on a public sidewalk.
Yeah, you are on a public sidewalk, and I'm on my property.
I know, that's where
I can
both
do
of us
whatever
are
I
getting
want.
along.
So then why are you in my face then?
I'm not in your face. I'm on a public sidewalk.
Nah,
You could
you're in
walk
my
away.
face.
I think it's,
You could walk away. I think you should.
I don't have to. But I also find it's
Why
very
is this guy coming
insensitive.
over here?
It's very insensitive to stand here and record people like this. Very insensitive.
It's really not though, because especially with the way cops act nowadays, kind of like what you're doing, needlessly harassing a guy. Oh my God, he's got a camera. He's standing on his own grass, and he's got a camera. Ooh, yeah. Like why? Why? It's perfectly legal for him to film in public, which is where he's at. And you're sitting there. I think they refer to it was like a chilling his First Amendment right.
It's also perfectly legal.
And now you're shining a flashlight in his face or in his camera, trying to blind the camera, which other courts have kind of spoken on as being constitutionally infringing.
It wasn't legal. I'm just saying it's very insensitive.
It's perfectly legal.
No? Very insensitive.
So why don't you go mind your business?
I'm minding business. I can mind whatever business.
I live in this neighborhood. This is my neighborhood. I'm welcome to record whatever I want.
100%.
And you can back off, dude. You are dismissed.
You're dismissed.
You're dismissed. You work for me. You are a public servant. You work for me. I pay your salary.
No, actually, you don't.
Yes, I do. My taxes pay your salary, dump. My taxes pay your salary, dump, do they not? The car you drive, the house you live in, everything you own, my tax dollars pay for.
No, you're kind of a dumb fuck for saying that.
So why don't you go? Yeah, you're being 100% recorded in live feed. Okay?
I think it's terribly insensitive of you, sir.
I don't give a what you think is terribly insensitive. I can record anything I can see. Okay?
That's why I'm allowing you.
My eyes are not
That's why he's allowing him to. Not that you have a constitutional right that he can't do anything about. He's allowing.
subject to what.
You shouldn't be a cop. Little boy right here. You shouldn't be a cop because you're a moron.
Whatever law that you think in your head.
I'm not enforcing it.
Okay,
I
then
am
don't.
standing on a public sidewalk.
Then go f off, man.
What is this audio?
Yeah. Absolutely. Trying to teach this gentleman what right and wrong is in terms of public decency.
Well, there's legal and there's public decency. What's legal?
Yeah, that's a big guy's way of saying back the fuck off because you're an idiot and borderline doing something illegal. I'm gonna get your department fucked up. That's what that is.
You just got schooled, man.
Really advised.
Advised to walk your tiny ass away before you get a lawsuit leveled on your head.
So thank you.
You're dismissed. Like right there, you shouldn't be a cop, bro. You should be able to be fired for that. Like, it's a guy standing on his lawn with a camera, and now we've got this officer just dicking off, wasting time, doing absolutely nothing other than just bugging the crap out of somebody. Like, what's the point of your job? I know if I did that, if I just walked over and just started bugging one of my coworkers, I'd get fired for not doing my job.
3 PC tips you definitely don't know.
Fuck.
Yes.
Oh, I'm stupid.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, right? It doesn't...
Here's $1 million side hustle that's so easy a 5-year-old could do it. It can be started with no money, no LLC, and no website, so you're gonna want...
Just already, I'm calling bullshit. This is a business that's gonna make you multi-million pounds without a company with no startup cash and a 5-year-old.
And in 2020, actually 2024 now, no website, like, no website, no social media presence. How could you possibly make millions?
Could do it. I'm calling bullshit. I don't even know what he's going to say.
Talking about starting a print-on-demand brand. So what this is basically partnering with a company that already holds the inventory and then prints it out as soon as you make a sale. There's this company called Printful that does it all for you. They have all the inventory you can imagine. They have every type of shirt, they have every type of hat, they got coffee mugs, they have it all. So what you do is you make clothing designs around trending topics, memes, anything that could basically go viral. And you have to do nothing and you make all the profits. It's never been easier to get rich.
There is just something that feels so snake oil about this whole thing. One, I guarantee, if this thing worked and worked one time and someone discovered how easy it was, I bet it's the most saturated thing physically possible. This video got 394,000 likes, which means it probably got like 3 or 4 million views. And even if like 1% of people did something off the back of this video, we're talking like tens of thousands of people. And so this video alone could have made it saturated. The very idea though, ladies and gents, that putting all of this work into creating a social media account, you know, coming up with designs, getting people to buy into them is free, just seems madness, because either you're not working and therefore sacrificing money, or you're working on it and hoping to get money. And so it's definitely not free. But I guarantee you, ladies and gents, this is not a business that you can start tomorrow and make millions of dollars from.
No, and obviously you have to have a website. Like, you don't have to have like a full-blown GoDaddy website, but you have to have social media presence. You have to have a TikTok, you have to have a Facebook, you have to have a YouTube, you have to have something. And then you have to have email addresses so you can probably correspond with all of these different social media platforms and the person that's going to be making you all the product that you're going to be selling to other people. And then you have to have access to an actual account on a website that sells stuff so you can send it to people, you know, so they can buy it. Yeah, this is all bullshit. And also, like, having a company where you just immediately on demand make products and sell it for things that go viral, probably a good possibility that you're going to get into copyright infringement, possibly. If you try to, you know, jump on a brand that's going viral and, oh, I'm gonna make all these coffee mugs with this viral symbol on it. It's like, it might be copyrighted, and you might be in a whole lot of lawsuit trouble. Just saying.
Here's $1 million side hustle that's so...
I never finished. Well, actually, I finished this game, but it was very unsatisfying ending. Jesus. I got this one way to do it. He's gonna get back up. No. Good God. I gotta mute it because my last live got hit with I got hit with multiple copyright strikes. Well, not strikes, but just violations. Because it was a Ray William Johnson video he was reacting to of another TikToker, and the TikToker was in Target hiding to try to stay the night there, and over the TikToker's video in the loudspeakers physically in the Target, they were playing one singular second of video with a song on it. And the YouTube algorithm picked that up and struck my video. Like, bro. God, I hope this is fake.
President. So here's what we're gonna do. Banning TikTok has once again entered the chat. This time the calls came during last night's debate from these Republicans who are all trying to be the next president. So here's what we're gonna do. I wanted to create a scorecard so it's super easy for you to see how each of the Republican candidates feel about whether or not to, yes, ban TikTok, or no, don't ban TikTok. And you're not gonna just hear me talking about it. You're gonna hear exactly what they had to say during last night's debate. And then we'll total it all up at the end, and then we'll see where we're at. Fair enough? Okay, so I want to start with the guy who really came out swinging on TikTok last night, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
TikTok is not only spyware, it is polluting the minds of American young people all throughout this country, and they're doing it intentionally. And when you saw what happened in the last few weeks with all of this anti-Semitic, horrible stuff that their algorithms were pushing out at a gargantuan rate, this is China trying to further divide the United States of America. And this is one of the big failings among many of the Trump administration. He talked tough about TikTok. I heard him do it many times. But when it came down to it, he did not ban them when he could have and should have. And now...
No. No, you can't. TikTok is a social media platform. How is a government representative standing on a world stage saying that in the United States, under our constitutional rule, the government has the right to ban a platform from the entire nation? What is this? I mean, is it not obvious that that's even if they did do that, it's going to immediately get struck down in the Supreme Court? Nobody has the right to do that.
Now, since then, we've had an additional nearly 6 years of this type of poison being put out throughout the United States, even putting aside the spying, which we know is going on, and the theft of American personal data and information.
Yeah, that's because people are idiots. It's because they're idiots or they don't care. It's one of the two. Okay? Either A, they are like me. I am fully aware of the guidelines and the things that you have to agree to use TikTok. You have to agree to their agreements and to give up all the information that they want you to give up on, that you have to give them. Like, I know that I'm giving them access to my camera, my microphone, all of the storage on my phone, all of the storage on my computer. I'm giving them access to view all of that information. I know that. Like, I have TikTok Studios on my desktop. I know in their terms of service I have to give them information, access to information that I don't want to give them. But I did it anyway. So, I don't care. And then B, you have the people who, they just are idiots and they don't read it. And they're just willfully ignorant. It's like, okay, well, they're fucking adults. They made that decision. Like, they decided to use a platform and a technology without knowing anything about it. Like, they're an adult person in America. They did that. They made that choice. Like, there's nothing that you can do about it. You can't fix stupid, and you can't fix lazy. It's just, we're allowing it. And this intelligent individual or any of these individuals, none of them are going to fix it. None of them can fix it. None of them have the authority to fix it.
So, in my first week as president, we would ban TikTok.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't at all. Because it would be direct constitutional infringement. You'd never get by with it.
Okay, I hear you. That is a yes on the TikTok ban. But how about Florida Governor Ron DeSantis? He was asked straight up, would you oppose a
In my opinion, he's an idiot too. Let's see.
TikTok ban?
Yes, I think that China's the top threat we face. They've been very effective at infiltrating different parts of our society. So my policy on China and the Chinese Communist Party is very simple. We win, they lose. And in order to do that, it's not just military, it's economic, and it's cultural. And as the dad of a 6'5" and a 3-year-old, I'm concerned about the data that they're getting from our young people and what they're doing.
Okay, what was it? A 6'5" and a 13-year-old? Okay, none of them should be on TikTok. None of them. None of them should be on social media.
It's very simple. We win, they lose. And in order to do that, it's not just military, it's economic, and it's cultural. And as the dad of a 6'5" and a 3-year-old...
Oh, 3-year-old, not bad. Okay, so yeah, 6 and 5. Definitely. Why? Like, as a dad of a 6 and a 5 and a 3-year-old, none of my children are on social media because that would be insane. Okay, so why are you bringing up your children? What are you doing?
I'm concerned about the data that they're getting from our young people. And
what data are they getting from a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old? What cartoon characters they like to watch on YouTube? Jesus.
what they're doing to pollute the minds of our young people. These kids get these devices and they have a mind of their own. And I know a lot of parents are looking, it's hard to even keep it out. China's obviously the most extreme, but this...
It's not hard to keep it out. It's not. Just don't give your kids a tablet or a phone, especially if they're 6 years old or 5 years old. It's literally the simplest thing in the entire fucking world. Just don't give them a thing. It's literally that simple.
This is happening with other things. So we are going to do that, and we are going to make sure to protect the American people. It's a full spectrum approach to be able to fend China off. Yes, military deterrence. Yes, economic decoupling, but also their role in our culture. If we ignore that, we're not going to be able to win the fight.
There was a lot in there, but I'm pretty sure he was also a yes on a TikTok ban. So now let's hear from South Carolina Senator Tim Scott.
What we should do is ban TikTok, period. Now, we saw under former President Trump, he tried to ban TikTok twice, but was struck down by our federal courts. If you cannot ban TikTok, you should eliminate the Chinese presence on the app. Period. We also should provide, in my parents' Bill of Rights, we give parents the opportunity to give their kids permission under 14 to be on those apps. I think it's incredibly important for us as Americans to take back control of the information, especially of our kids. Where does it go? We should know that.
If I'm being rational, I want to say that this guy is speaking right now as if he were a parent. But in reality, this is a government representative talking about taking back possession of personal information of the American people. And that is creepy as a motherfucker to me. Like, if you're a government representative, especially if you're a Republican, a candidate for president, stop talking about crap like this. Stop talking about banning a social media platform. Stop talking about it, because this is a losing topic. Like, I know you think that you're, like addressing maybe the rural, the old school Republicans. You are creeping out all of the new school Republicans. You are creeping us out, talking about banning our access to platforms on the internet, because I take that as a direct violation to people's. It'd be a First Amendment violation for freedom of speech. But would it not also be a Fourth Amendment? Well, it would not be a Fourth Amendment violation, but it would kind of be, because you're coming into my country and you're blocking my access to have something of a personal nature on my possessions. Like, I can't access this on my computer. This is mine. I should be able to access whatever I want. Now, like if I'm committing a crime, like CP, sure, obviously. But social media is not a crime. Social media doesn't have, like TikTok doesn't have anything directly illegal. As far as I'm aware, I don't get anything on my For You page like grape or CP, so. Yeah, coming into people's houses, kinda. Removing things on their phones, removing things on their computers. Because how would you stop me right now? That's an interesting question. Right now, TikTok is legal. Okay, I have TikTok on my computer, I have TikTok on my phone. How are you going to remove my access to it? I mean, you can't come in and take the app off my phone. You can't take the information off my hard drives. How would you stop me? I'm sure there's some way of blocking access to the servers. Is there? Does the American government even have access to anything like that? I mean, they're not supposed to, right? That's like right now. Technically, you can get online and you can go wherever you want to any website and you can look at any illegal thing that you want in the United States. You'll be tracked. And when they find out that you have material on your hard drive, they'll come to your house, because then technically it's a crime and you're not allowed to have that stuff. They'll monitor you, but they can't actually do anything to stop you from going to those sites that are already illegal in the United States. So how would they stop TikTok legally? I don't think that they can. I don't think it's possible. And also, it's just going to be struck down by the Supreme Court, so I don't know why we have so far 3 people talking about something directly illegal. Like, yeah, we're going to ban it, even though the Supreme Court says we can't. Maybe you should stop doing that.
One of the ways that we get to know that is by having a parental consent. But if we can eliminate TikTok, that is a first step. But it's not just TikTok. China continues to spy on our kids, but they're also buying our farmlands. We talked about that several times there. We have to make sure that...
And the American government is allowing that. They want to ban TikTok, but they're also selling land to foreign nationals.
We use the tools that are in our toolkit to stop China from buying farmland near our bases. The third thing we have to do is make sure that they stop stealing our intellectual property. They're literally stealing our IP to compete against us. My administration, we stop that day one, and we start making sure that we create 6-figure income for jobs made in America through my strategy.
How about, oh my God. How about we stop with this 6-figure income bullshit? How about instead of increasing the income of the American people, how about we decrease the price of things? That way, the income doesn't have to increase. Bro, I don't want to make $1 million a year. I would just rather my milk be like 90 cents again. That would be easier, rather than having it be $5. Like, I don't need to make 6 figures. I don't need to make 6 figures if 6 figures isn't required for me to live in a year. Which it's not right now, but you get what I'm saying. Like, stop trying to increase the income, start decreasing the cost. Do that.
So that's a yes on a TikTok ban, and if the courts
Nikki
don't
Haley.
allow it, he's going to get China out of the app, but he didn't exactly say how, but he definitely talked about farms and 6-figure American jobs.
Yeah, which are just... That's just so tiring. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so now let's talk about former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. Now, she did not use her time last night to talk about her stance on a TikTok ban. Instead, she used her time to clap back at other candidates who were sort of hurling insults her way. But I can tell you, based on her previous debate performances and previous speeches, She is absolutely a hard yes on a TikTok ban. And that leaves us with entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, who, of course, has a TikTok account and uses it quite a bit. He started his answer to whether or not he would ban the app.
Is there something on her lip? Or is it just glossy? Oh, I keep wanting to wipe her fucking mouth.
With a pretty nasty jab at Nikki Haley.
I want to laugh at why Nikki Haley didn't answer your question, which is about looking at families in the eye. In the last debate, she made fun of me for actually joining TikTok while her own daughter was actually using the app for a long time. So you might want to take care of your family first.
Leave my daughter out of your voice.
Out of your voice.
Generation of Americans are using it, and that's actually the point. You have her supporters propping her up. That's fine. Here's the truth. The easy answer is actually to say that we're just going to ban one app. We got to go further. We have to ban any U.S. company actually transferring U.S. data to the Chinese. Here's a story most people don't know. Airbnb hands over U.S. user data to the CCP. Now, that's a U.S.-owned company. So this is the problem when you have Republicans that temporarily go the way the winds blow, and now it's popular to talk tough on China. When she was UN ambassador, called them literally, her words, not mine, our great friend. You can't be fair weather fans of the right policy. Get to the root cause. Even U.S. companies in Silicon Valley are regularly doing it. Cut the virtue signaling. The fact of the matter is Democrats are on TikTok today. The only person, one of the few people who is putting up content the way the actual algorithms work, speaking for pro-Israel views or others, is Ambassador Haley. More Republicans will join it, but stop U.S.
Actually, yeah, that's a more reasonable take, actually. Like, A, you're not going to ban TikTok. You're not going to do it. Point blank period, end of discussion. It's not going to happen. The Supreme Court is not going to allow government officials to ban a social media platform in this country. That's not going to fucking happen. I don't know why we have, what is it? Is it 4 people right now? Christy DeSantis, fucking Haley, and the other guy, Scott. We got 4 people, president candidates, who are talking about banning access of the American people to a website. Not good. Not a good thing. Banning companies from, offshoring our personal information and data. Okay, yeah. That's kind of really annoying.
Companies from turning over data to Chinese companies. That's the real answer. The virtue signal.
So I think that's a maybe on a ban. I'm not real sure. There was a lot of yelling. And
it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like he's just stopping the company itself from spying on the American people, which it is doing. Like, you can just read the terms of service. Like, you have to give them access to your internal memory for all your pictures. You have to give them access to internal memory for all your video. And that's basically just so that you can, it's not basically. It's for you to upload videos because it has to access your storage. But also, it's an outside company that has access to all your videos and images. It just does. And then the video social media platform has to have access to all of your contacts and then all of their personal information, phone numbers, email addresses. They don't need that, but that's so that they can connect you with other people who have set up TikTok accounts, and also so that they can have access to those people's information that they might not have given them. For instance, I might not give them my personal email address, but I might give them my phone number. Because you can set up a TikTok account with one or the other, or both. But you don't have to have both. And if they have access to your contacts, and your contacts have access to Kathy Pearl, who knows? Maybe I actually know Kathy Pearl, which I don't, but maybe I do. She has a TikTok account set up with her phone number, but not her email address. But because I know Kathy Pearl, I know her email address, it's in my contacts. Now TikTok has access to my contacts, which has access to her email address, which they didn't have access to through her TikTok account. That's one of the things that they do that's kind of shady as fuck. Because they don't need access to your contacts. But you have to give it to them.
so I can't be positive. But here's the scorecard. You can see out of the 5 Republican candidates last night, 4 of them are a hard yes.
And did Trump actually already try to ban TikTok? Okay. I was in prison until 2020, alright? Remember that. Whenever you gasp with exasperation.
On a TikTok ban, one of them is a maybe. So you may be wondering, what about the far and away frontrunner for the Republican nomination, former President Donald Trump? Well, the fact is, he hasn't talked about a TikTok ban at all recently. But I can tell you, he was responsible for 2 attempts to ban TikTok while he was still president in 2020. And he was shot down both times in the courts. So it's safe to say he's also a yes on a TikTok ban.
Stop! Stop it! You people are morons. The United States government announced that it was considering banning the Chinese social media platform TikTok upon a request from the then President Donald Trump, who viewed the app as a national security threat, which it is. The result was that TikTok owner ByteDance, which initially planned on selling a small portion of TikTok to an American company, agreed to divest TikTok to prevent a ban in the United States and in other countries where restrictions are also being considered due to privacy concerns, which themselves are mostly related to its ownership by a firm based in China, which it is. TikTok later announced plans to file legal action challenging the order's transactional prohibitions with the United States company, or with the U.S. companies. The lawsuit against the Trump administration's order was filed on August 24th. TikTok arguing that the order was motivated by Trump's efforts to boost re-election support through protectionist trade policies aimed at China, which, yeah, probably. Separate suit filed the same day by TikTok's U.S. technical program manager, Patrick Ryan, against Trump. Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross sought a temporary restraining order, arguing that his due process rights were violated and the ban was an unconstitutional taking of Ryan's property under the Fifth Amendment. Under the Fifth Amendment? Okay. I don't understand. Unconstitutional taking. Also Fifth Amendment, but alright. Okay, what? Fifth Amendment is right to be free of self-incrimination, but also others. A person should be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in militia, when in actual service in time of war, public danger, nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy, double jeopardy, life or limb, nor shall it be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against itself, deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process, right to a fair and speedy trial, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation, without dumping out our toys, without just compensation. Okay. Damn, really? You can tell I haven't read that part ever. Private property to be taken for public use without just compensation. Does that mean the government just has to pay you for it? Huh. Alright. Violation of Fifth Amendment. Cool. The zoo also claims Trump's actions were likely a retaliation because of TikTok's videos organizing pranks at a recent Trump campaign rally. more toys you dump out, the more toys you have to pick up. Stop dumping out all your toys. Put it down. Put it down. Little girl's dumping out literally every toy that she has. Oh. American technology company Microsoft previously proposed an idea to acquire TikTok's algorithm and other AI technology, but it was declined by ByteDance as executives expressed concern that it would likely be opposed by the Chinese government. Yeah, you think? Which in turn had criticized the Trump administration's order as a smash and grab forced sale. September 13, 2021, ByteDance suggests that it would prefer the shuttering of U.S. operations over such a sale. Yeah. Executive order. July 7th, 2020, U.S. Secretary Mike Pompeo announced the government was considering banning TikTok in response. Sarah Cook, Freedom House's research director for China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan, suggested that Trump's proposed TikTok ban may threaten free speech and set a very problematic precedent. Yeah, you think? For banning apps in the United States, Patrick Jackson, Chief Technology Officer for privacy company Disconnect, said the app sends an abnormal amount of data, mostly information about the phone, to its servers, but there is limited evidence that TikTok shares that data with the Chinese government. He also noted that the amount of collected data was similar to that collected by American originated, Jesus Christ, my brain just like had a fucking stroke. American originated social media platforms, and was less than that collected by Facebook. So it's not that they care about, oh, this company's collecting data, private citizens. It's because it's a foreign company collecting that data. Because our company, or our government, collects the same data. Right here. They do. Okay, yeah, so, Republican representatives, stop doing this. Stop talking about it. Stop it. You're not going to ban TikTok. It's not going to happen. Supreme Court's going to shut you down. A vast majority of the American people, Republicans and Democrats, and undecideds, they are not in support of you banning a social media platform. Stop talking about it. Stop trying to do it. Stop claiming that you're trying to do it, because you're not. You have no idea how to do it because you can't do it. Stop talking about it. It's a stupid thing to do. It's a stupid thing to talk about. And almost nobody of any sensibility wants it done. If you have a problem with TikTok, stop using TikTok. If you are worried about TikTok, stop using TikTok. That's all you gotta do. Just stop. And also turn off Bluetooth settings on your phone, because technically TikTok has a function where it's able to access nearby devices. So, careful with that.
Hypothetical question. You are going to get transported into the fictional world of your choosing. Which one do you choose? But there is a major caveat. The full explanation will take until the end, but the caveat will be at the beginning. And the major caveat here is that you are not going to be anyone special in this world. You are going to be a standard, factory-setting, normal member of this society. So if you choose Harry Potter, then you are a muggle. If you choose Star Trek, then you are an average human citizen of the Federation. Now, literally any movie, video game, book, television show, comic book, anime, manga, everything is on the table. And you can appear anywhere in this timeline that you want. So this can be before the actual series is set, afterwards, anywhere you want. Now, this does not mean that workarounds are not possible. If, for instance, you were to choose a Harry Potter wizarding world, then you could still have to be a muggle, but you could always find a Witcher wizard to marry, which would grant you access into the wizarding world. If you chose Star Trek, you could always try to attend Starfleet Academy or go run off and join a Romulan pirate crew or whatever. But you start off as a perfectly average member of this world. So which world do you choose?
Why? Why do you have to be a muggle in the wizarding world? Jesus, that's crap. Why can't you just be a normal wizard? Just some, Humpty Dumpty normal dude, but has magic powers. Like, Harry Potter universe, that would be a crappy thing to choose. Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be a normal human in a world of magic. Like, no. All worlds are on the table? Comic book, manga, all of them? There's like a litany of worlds that you could choose that have magic in it where you can learn magic. Why on God's green earth would you ever choose like the wizarding world of Harry Potter? No. Yeah. Basically any world where there's magic and that I can access it. Forgotten Realms. Yeah. Like you can learn to be a wizard. It's hard, but you can do it.
Wondering if you could stay tonight. There is a shift that no one's assigned that needs to get covered. I can have you off at 5 a.m. You can have a sleep between shifts. Let me know. God, that is kind of him. Unfortunately, I can't cover today. Sorry, I really wasn't asking. Nobody else is able to cover. I don't understand why everyone assumes that I can cover every available shift. Some of you guys need to carry the weight and be team players. I am already scheduled for 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. today. Wow, I mean, that's already a long shift. This is my usual schedule for the beginning of the week. I am scheduled to be back at 2 p.m. tomorrow. It is not legal to schedule me for 20-hour shifts without my consent. I swear I'm covering all the time. I mean, that's completely fair. I don't even think that's legal to commit someone to a 20-hour shift without them giving permission. I mean, this...
I could be talking completely out of my ass, but I don't think that there is there a limit? There might be a limit. It might be 16 hours. Let's see. OSHA. Hourly work limit. Says that a normal work shift, no more than 8 hours in a day. No. How many hours? Federal labor law about working 24 hours straight. Yeah, that's what I thought. According to OSHA, working a 24-hour shift can cause employees emotional, mental, and physical stress. However, there is currently no comprehensive federal law preventing employers from requiring adult employees to work shifts of 24 hours or even more. So yeah, that's what I thought. In the United States, there is no federal law protecting an employer from forcing you to work as many hours as they want. But you're also equally as capable of just not working that. So that's what employers are kind of, we're just in this happy, or, well, not happy, but just normal thing where it's like 8 to 12 hours. That's how much you're going to work. Because that's what most people are accepting of, I guess. There is no actual federal law, as far as I'm aware, that limits a company in any way for the workable hours. It's just what the economic marketplace is willing to tolerate, basically. It's like, I'm never going to go apply for a company that says, oh yeah, well the shift is also 24 hours long. It's like, okay, get fucked. That's how that's going to go. But yeah, legality, there is no law. There is no law. Maybe schedule, no, it shouldn't be. Like scheduling somebody. I thought maybe there was a law stating, it might just be Tennessee though, that you have to have like 8 continuous hours of any shift that incorporates more than 8 continuous hours requires more than 5 consecutive days to work on it. No. I thought that you had to have 8 hours off in between a 16-hour shift. But that might just be state by state, and it might just be Tennessee labor law. Yeah.
This person's already working a crazy shift, to be fair with you. Well, look, I'll try and find someone else next time so you can have more time off, but I need you to know, I mean, what is he, like, he's not having time off. The guy's working a 12-hour shift, so the time off that he has is to sleep. I do not know how I can say this any other way, so polite, but I cannot tonight. I don't think I need to give you a reason, but the short version is, I have dinner with my wider family tonight. Very polite. How convenient. You can come after dinner though. Bloody hell. I'm not available. Please stop messaging me. I genuinely feel like you're harassing me now. I am not harassing you. I'm just asking you to do your job, which is so ridiculous because it's not their job to.
Yeah, you're being asked to do someone else's job because they're not covering their shift.
20-hour shift without, sign off. Your generation is so ridiculous. I mean, I think we can all picture what this person looks like. Mark, I'm going to screenshot this whole message chain and send it to HR as I feel this is a personal attack on myself. Well, look, I mean, congratulations to the person because I think they handled that incredibly well. And I think the boss, even the comment like your generation, he's there being like, I'm so good at my job, I'm so important, and this person, weak and whatever. But the reality is like they're already working a 12-hour shift and he's asking them to work a 20-hour shift without any notice. And he's just trying to have dinner with his family. So obviously, I think the person actually handled it really, really well. So yeah, take note. Hey, I was wondering if you could stay.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I've seen this one.
On this planet that would make me want to stand in when I tell you there is no amount of money on this.
Times Square people have been waiting since 5 a.m. for this moment. NYPD opened this gate at 10:30. These motherfuckers have been waiting for 5 hours in New York to walk into Times Square.
Planet that would make me want to stand in Times Square waiting for the ball to drop. I would rather pour Tabasco sauce in my eyes.
10:30 in the morning and you're waiting until 12 o'clock at night. Jesus Christ. What is that? It's 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. and then 12 and then 11, right? 14 and a half hours standing in Times Square because you're probably not going anywhere when there's like literally at least I want to say 1 million, but like several 100,000 people. I don't know how many people go to Times Square. I would never. I don't like going to Walmart at certain times of the month because people get their fucking food stamps, and it's a clusterfuck there. Can't imagine going to Times Square.
And have no water source to rinse them out. I would rather eat live snails for the next 365 days than stand in Times Square. These people are wearing diapers. You can't go to the bathroom once you're there. You're like a caged animal. He can barely run because he's wearing so many diapers. You can't move. You're shoved in there. Ugh. Nothing seems worse. Look at them all running towards the front. What to see what? I'd rather sit on my couch.
Yeah, bro. Like everything. I was like, ooh, wow, you saw it in person. I saw it on this big ass. I don't even know what this is. This is a 42-inch TV. It's a 42-inch. That's a 42-inch. That's a TV, but I'm using it as a computer monitor. Like, yeah, I'm gonna see exactly the same thing that you saw. But I'm also comfortably in my chair in my climate-controlled house. No.
The bottle of wine with 6 bottles of wine and my own bathroom. Jesus. I don't even need my own bathroom. I just need a bathroom.
Yeah. Like all these people running to get position of where they're going to be at. And it's like, bro, you've got 14 hours. You're going to have to shit sometime. You're going to have to. I shouldn't watch this. I should not watch this because I'm terrible at math.
Have you seen the news out of math class? What would you do if your kid came home and said, you know, I had a test in math class today, and one of the questions didn't make any sense. I don't know if I got it right or wrong. And you're thinking, well, is it 2 plus 2? Is it 4 plus 4? I can help you with that. Is it maybe multiplication? The 9 times 9 stuff? That's pretty difficult. Was it division? Was it long division? Something has changed about math since I was a kid and a lot of you were kids. And that something is, they almost want you to, I don't know, give a supposition about what the answer is. I think the answer might be this, and it might be that. I never used to think math was variable, although the numbers can be variables. I thought that it was exactly 2 plus 2 is 4. Now it's 2 plus 2 is something, I feel like it's kind of 4.5. Maybe 3.257. But this one is even beyond all of that. Here's the actual question from a maths TED.
What? That's a dumbass question. Janelle has 15 marbles. She lost some of them. How many does Janelle have now? I don't fucking know. I don't know how many she lost. What the hell kind of question is that? I hope that's fake. That's fake. That's fake. Is that fake? That's gotta be fake. God, I hope that's fake. What is it? Is it Janelle? I can't remember. How far? Janelle. That's not real. Is that real? 3rd grade? What is this? Go away. Yeah, get out of here. Specialized learning disability after posting photos Reddit. Is this real? This is real? How is this real? dude, this is from 2017. Jesus Christ. This is old as hell, but it's coming back to TikTok evidently. Okay. Well, that's quite something right there. That is quite something.
Out of Great Britain, they don't say math, they say maths. Janelle had 15 marbles. She lost some of them. How many does Janelle have now? Couple of problems here. Number one, saying somebody lost their marbles could be sort of an insult that, why aren't you thinking? Why aren't you using your brain? Secondly...
Okay, I'm done. I've already lost interest. This guy's always got... Oh, is that the guy? I don't think that's the guy. Is it the guy?
Fight, and I promise you, you'll expeditiously find out what type of man you're dealing with.
I think it
They
is.
even did a survey. Quite a lot to unpack here. Alfred, my eyes immediately drawn to the 8% of people that think they could slapbox a lion and live. I've seen lions take down buffalo over 1,000 pounds, but Buddy thinks because he benches 2 plates he could murk Mufasa. Then you got the 6% that believe they could beat a grizzly bear in a fist fight. Ignoring the fact that if that paw tells you to keep his wife's name out your mouth, you're getting erased from the population. Just look at this. This is why women have a longer shelf life than men. The irrational confidence of thinking you can have any say in the outcome of this situation is wild. And then you got the 17% that think they can fight a chimp. Let me tell you, not only would a chimp beat you like a dirty rug with one hand, a chimp would literally beat you with one hand. As in rip your right arm off and beat you with it. Nah, but the most interesting thing here is the 28% of people that would apparently get folded by Stuart Little. That's more than a quarter of people not confident in their abilities against a rodent. The human mind is an interesting place, the more you know.
If any do you think you could beat in a fight if you were unarmed? Grizzly bear, lion, elephant. Unarmed against an elephant. Against a gorilla. This is percentiles of people? That's 6% of Americans? That's not 6% of Americans. I mean, yeah, okay, it's not. Okay. Rational thinking activated. That is not 6% of all Americans ever. That's just like a generalized poll, statistically calculated to represent. Yeah. I'm bad at math. What even is that? What is that? Let's see. No, let's go over here. American population. 6% of 331 million. What I did there. I don't know why. Oh, that's why. 6. Fucking hell. Jesus! Oh my god. Where is it at? Calculator. 331 million. Divide by 90. Or, no, fuck. I'm terrible at math. Minus 94%. Well, that didn't go the way that I wanted it to. There we go, 19 million. 19 million people. There's a lot. There's a lot of people. 19 million people at the lowest. 19 million people think they can go hand to hand with a grizzly bear, lion, elephant, and
It's
gorilla.
scientifically proven that one of the best ways
Go
to
away.
see how a guy's mind works, to really get the thing here, is the 28
19 million people and above think they can take out a wolf, chimpanzee, Jesus. That's actually alarming.